everyone, welcome to another episode of Alpha Simulation. Today is gonna be one of the best episodes probably for all of you guys. I received a lot of requests on how to implement the visual system using the new Microsoft Flight Simulator multi-display support. I'm gonna go one step ahead on that actually. I'm gonna show you how to do that using the Flight Elise. Now, why Flight Elise? It's because back in November, Microsoft Flight Simulator released this multi-display support, and I give it a try. I play a little bit, and I think it was half hour into my playing time where I stopped and I decided to not give it a go anymore. Why? If you go to general option and you select experimental, there is a section where it says multi-display. If you click there, it allows you to create as many windows as you need. For me, I have 3 projectors, so I needed 3 windows. And you create 3 windows, and actually you can take each of them and put into the left, to the center, the right side of the system. And then they're all the same windows, but then you can play with the horizontal shifting or the tilting, the vertical, the zoom. There is a lot of things that you can play around, and it was getting to a point where it was like really trial and error. I mean, you have to stay there, and one windows was okay, but the other one you have to move, but if you move this, the other one was not good anymore, and correct. I mean, it was really so much trial and error that I kind of gave up. I know a lot of people on YouTube actually, they have a couple of videos where they managed to do pretty much there, but if I'm here, I don't like pretty much, and I'm sure the same with you. You want the system that works very well. Luckily for us, Flight Elise released in January this year, 2023, released the new version, I think it's version 5.5.1 of Immersive Calibration Pro and Display Pro. So what you can do, if you already have a license with them, you can just download the version and install it, and basically you can start using it straight away. So today in this video, I want to show you how to use Flight Elise to make all the calculation the Microsoft Flight Simulator needs for the multi-display support automatically. So you don't have to do anything. There is a little bit of tweak that you have to do in the end, but pretty much is there. And I can tell you guys, I've done it myself, the system, it works pretty good. There is no stretch eyes, there is no fish eyes as you guys call it, there is no stretching, and I think the zoom is also better because the color are even better and so forth. I changed my projector also, I put all of 3 there together so they're more closer, they give me a little bit more better image, visual display. But the reason I'm doing this video, I was not supposed to do this video, but the reason I'm doing is because a lot of you actually receive, they saw my first video on, I don't remember, last year, on how to basically calibrate everything with the Flight Elise, and I was not expecting. It's actually been one of the most viewed video ever, I think, from the Alpha Simulation collection of video that I made. And so many people then ask me how to do with Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I create another video where you can simply shift the simulator view into the projector system. But there was a little bit of cheat trick because it did work, but there was stretching, okay? It was not really warped as it should. Now, after that, I received a lot of people, they mentioned, well, have you managed to do this? Yes, I did manage, and so everybody was asking me how to do this video, to please to do so. So I do listen to you guys, and I'm happy. I'm taking some time off work to do this. Disclaimer, I'm gonna show you how to do it, but this you need to be aware that I'm not gonna start from zero. I don't want this to be another 2-hour video, it's too long. I want this to be straight to the point, and so this video is for those people that already know how to do the full calibration, how to connect with Flight Elise and so forth. If you don't know how to do that, if you want to start from zero, please see my video on how to calibrate Flight Elise, how to use Immersive Calibration Pro for your own copy system. It's quite a long video and it goes into detail, so if you didn't watch the video, I suggest you do that, do the full calibration, and then I'll show you how to do this. So this is basically for those people that already know how to do calibration. Let's start without further ado, let's go. let's start, guys. So the first thing you want to do is to go to the main computer where your fly simulator is installed, where everything is installed, and including the immersive calibration pro. First thing, let's go into NVIDIA control panel. We need to basically connect on the calibration with a server computer, so we have to go back. We do configure surround, span, configure. Okay, so leave that as it's supposed to be. If it needs to be changed, then change it, but for me it's okay. Yeah, it looks okay. And then do enable surround. So we are created the surround with the 3 projectors because during the calibration, remember, we have to have the 3 projector as one big screen. So we just wait until the enable surround is done, and then we can start working on. In the meantime, while that's working, let's go to need not the calibration, but not the display pro, but we need to go the calibration. So I have 2 folders, one display, one is calibration. You need to go into the calibration. Now on this main computer, you wanna open the client from another computer like a laptop. You want to open that as a server, because from the server you will then do all the calibration that you need for the fly Elise. Remember that if something is not working, if you cannot connect, it's because you need to install the Bonjour program. Okay, so I can see that everything has been connected, so we can now close this for a moment, and we open the client. We just wait, and then when the client is open, we can go to the laptop and turn on the rest the server. So if you want to see it, just go here and do show. Okay, it shows already as connected. Now you see here client not connected, so this is where we go to our laptop. We open the same program, but instead of clicking client, we click server. So the moment we can close this, we leave this open, and let's move to the laptop. Okay, guys, so we are here at the laptop. So the first thing you want to do is to open your folder of immersive calibration. This time you want to open server. When you open server, you are presented with this window here. Now you don't have to create a new project. Remember, this is going to be faster because you don't have to calibrate it. Everything is already been calibrated. So this is more about taking the calibration output and put it into the Microsoft Flight Simulator, so that Microsoft Flight Simulator can read those outputs and act accordingly. So all you need to do is to select your latest calibration. My latest is very recent, so I just load. And of course, if you have to start from zero, start from zero. But when you load, you will see that the 3 projector already here. And what you want to do is to select the yeah. Oh, okay, that's automatically. So automatically already select the 3 projector connected to mine, and obviously it says here that it's connected as a server. If you go to the other one, you can see also this connected. Now you know that you are connected because on your display on your projector screen, you should see now the 3 projector. And basically what you want to do is you go, well, you can go one by one, but you don't have to change anything. Everything is already be calibrated. However, I would like to show you something. When you go to map and scan, um, it's a good idea, since you're already here, to tweak a little bit. Maybe during your calibration, since the last time you've done it, something is moved, or maybe the projector, because of the shaking, moved a little bit. So if you go here, turn on all the views, and if you see that the calibration needs to be tweaked or redone, then so be it. You just basically select new points, recalibrate, and then you calculate everything from here. Now, again, I'm not going to show you everything here.
this already been shown on the original video, so you should already know how to do everything. All you need to do is actually go towards the end. But what I've done is the just before going to the end, I make sure that everything did not change, everything stays the same, the color stays the same. Now, perspective, here's when you need to do something about it. First of all, keep the asymmetric off and keep the same field of view on. The reason why this needs to be off is because for Flight Simulator, this will not work very well. Obviously, keep use perspective on, and what you want to do is you want to calculate the fulcrum first, and then obviously the perspective. So what you want to do, you click this, let the fulcrum calculate, okay, and this is where you can adjust your eye view. So what you want to see is, if you go into the tunnel mode, you should be able to see the center of the simulator. Actually, let's make this bigger. You should be able to see the center of your simulator. Imagine this is the simulator here. The center should be aligned with the center of, let me see if I can zoom a little bit. Okay, should be aligned with the center of the tunnel mode. If it's not, for example, if it's like that, or if it's on the other side like that, what you can do is you can adjust your frustrum, and you have here the rotation X, Y, Z. I'm not gonna touch it, but you can play around with a little bit, and you can see the image here. While this one stay the same, the image that we have here is going to shift to the left or to the right according to your setting. Now mine was pretty much straight. I have to do a little bit of change, but very tiny, to make sure that everything is stay aligned in this way. Okay. Of course, you don't see here the alignment. You see this directly on your screen. Now, I'm gonna pause it for a second so I can show you exactly what I meant by all this.
Okay, after selecting the tunnel, this is exactly what you're supposed to see. So we have the tunnel that goes all around the three projector as one image. Now, as you can see, I select my center simulator with a line exactly with the center of the line over there. See if I can adjust, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. So the line over there, for me, it looks like, for example, a runway. So I want the center there to be centered with the simulator. This is because obviously in real life, when the airplane is correctly aligned with the center of the runway, usually this is the middle point, so we're supposed to see here, I think that the wheel correspond to the center of the simulator. So this is exactly how the center of the cockpit. So that's exactly how we create mine. Now if you see that, for example, the line is a little bit tilted left or right, or maybe shift, you can use the calibration there to adjust, and what it does, it allow you to adjust the visual to perfectly align. The other way to do it is to actually move the simulator itself, but my simulator is so heavy that this is not gonna go nowhere. Okay, so if you get to this point, we are good. Let's continue.
All right, having calculated the frustrums, if there is no other changes you need to do, then you do calculate perspective, and you let it calculate it again. Now, if you haven't changed anything, recalculate the frustrum and the perspective. It's not going to change much. It will be exactly as you had in your previous project. But it's always good to tweak a little bit and to make sure that nothing's been left. Because once you finish this calibration, you don't want to go back and redo it. Okay. So let's move to the next. Now, this is the final export. And this is where the real different from the previous version of the immersive calibration pro is. Before, We had obviously Procal, Warp and Blend, and we had P3 Definite, but now we also have Microsoft Flight Simulator. So you want to take this on. So the files that you need is obviously this single frustum perspective. So just take both of them, depending which one you use. Just take both of them. Doesn't harm to take both. And then on the Microsoft Flight Simulator, we have these three options. Now, the first option is multi-PC. This is where you have, for example, each projector connected to one PC. So you have 3, 4, 5 PC, depending how many you have, and this is what you need. If you have all the projector like me, for example, connected to one main big computer, then all you need is the single PC version. Again, it doesn't harm to also connect, have this and download that, because if one doesn't work, maybe you are in a multi PC and you can choose which one. But I already know that I'm using one single PC where all the projectors are connected, so I'm going to use only this one now. Reuse default MS view. This is quite interesting. So what it does is that in Microsoft Flight Simulator, you have the main screen, right? Now, if you select this on, what it does is that use the main screen as already the first center window. And all it does is create the left and the right. Uh, if you say off, what it does is they it leaves the main screen as it is. For example, if you want to keep that on your main computer, and it's going to create three new windows, including the center. Okay, so that's the only difference. I select this off because what I wanted to do is to have three windows, and these three windows will be my left, my center, and my right view for each projector. But then I also want the main windows to be on my main computer, because I can still see and control my simulator from there. For example, if I want to change plane, or if I want to change airport and so forth, it's very easy to do from there. So I select this off. So all I need is just this one. And then what you need to do is to export the data. Now, I'm not going to do that because it's going to rewrite my files, which already done, and I want to change it. However, when you export the data, it will export this file into this server computer, but it will also send a copy of this file to the main computer. And that's all you need, guys. So just to summarize, you don't have to calibrate anything. I suggest you, if you are here, maybe you want to adjust some of the points since you are here. Maybe it's good idea to recalculate everything and make sure that everything is fine. But in reality, once you start the project, all you need to do is to go here, calculate frustum and cut the perspective again, and then you do export, and you can choose which one export. Okay, so once you do that, you can close this and we can go back to the main computer for the most interesting part.
Okay, back at the main computer. So first thing, let's go back to the surround. Now here we can remove the surround. We don't need it anymore, so we can disable. Yes. And so once again, you don't need to have a surround to use the simulator and everything. The surround, it's only needed when you doing the calibration. Once the calibration is done, you can close everything. Just as usual, make sure that you have the windows as you need. In my view, in my case, for some reason after I finish the calibration, they changed the windows, so I need to put it back as it was. Okay, but yeah, okay. Anyway, just check the resolution. Yes, apply. Just check the resolution is the same. You play a little bit with NVIDIA control panel. Some resolution may change. So let's see, for example, 59 Hz. Now I don't know why. Go back to 59. Should be 60. This one as well, and this one as well. So just a little bit of TL it's all good to go. So now we got all 60 and it's disconnected from surround, so we can go back. Okay, first thing to do, let's go to the files that we just exported. So I go into my folder for Calibration Pro, and here you see exported client, and when you go there you see the ProCal, the project, which is basically the one I save, and the Microsoft Flight Simulator. So the first thing to do, let's start with this. So we have multi 1, multi 2, multiple. So copy all this and paste into your I think is the config folder. Yes, so config folder, it's into, for me it's Windows Word, put 00 in config. This is created by Mercer Calibration Pro. Now if you don't do this, you can still select the files from the export folder that I showed you before. The problem is that for some reason Immersive Display Pro doesn't like that. He wants you to put the files into this folder called config, because it's gonna call up all these files directly from there. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with that. So copy and paste that, and that's done now. So once you do that, you can forget about the ProCal. Now MSFS, what do we do with this? So if you double click this and you open, you're gonna see some interesting information here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So okay, this one, it tells you blah 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 blah. Okay, so the first thing it tells you here is that on the Microsoft Flight Simulator you need to put the percentage of zoom to 72.2788. This is very precise. And then you have to go into each folder of your plane, into each camera's config file, and insert this value where you see initial zoom and initial PBH, which is the position. Okay, then it creates, this file creates the frustum, the lateral, the vertical, and the roll effect for channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. And then there is this file here which you need to copy and paste. So let's go step by step, because I know that this may be confused for a lot of you guys. So the first thing, let's start from here. We need to understand which plane we are gonna use. If you wanna use a Cessna, if you wanna use Airbus 320, then you have to go its individual camera config file and obviously change this. For those people like me, they have a home copy system. Most probably 99% of the time you are using ProSim. So ProSim already have a ProSim 738, which is the 737-800 flight model. And if you go there, you can find this, and I'll show you how. So if we open another folder, so we wanna go, let's go from, let's see if I can remember. So you go in Windows C, then you go user, and you go to the name of your user, app data, local, then you go packages, find the Microsoft Flight Simulator, there you go. Then we go local cache, packages, community folder, and then you scroll all the way down to ProSim, and then you go to sim object, airplanes, ProSim. Okay, we got it there in the end. Right, okay, so if you go into the folder of ProSim, you will find the cameras here. Okay, so the cameras, if you open, I'll just make here a little bit shorter so we know which one is which. So it tells you here to go into the camera definition, create a copy of the camera config. First of all, obviously create a backup like I did. I create a backup just in case you screw up something. You can always put back the file as it was.
locate the camera definition X. So in this case, camera definition, there are different camera definition, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but the one which include this value here is the first one, the camera definition 0. And then it tells you to go to this section. So we have here initial zoom, one it's here, 0.35, and it tells me to change to 1. And then the other one is this initial PBH 100 is telling me to change to 000. Now hold on a second, guys, this is very important. The fly list, if you read the manual, it does tells you that for each airplane that you want to use in this situation, you need to go to the camera config and change this parameter. But it's talking about the flight simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 plane, the default. I don't think it makes any reference to any payware or ProSim 738. What does it mean? It means that if I'm going to the classic Cessna, yes, I will change this. But I believe that ProSim, when they release the new version of ProSim, the zoom and the initial configuration here, PBH, I think it's already calculated so that you have the maximum, the perfect view. If you start to change the zoom and this initial PBH, I think it's gonna change entirely the view, because ProSim 738 is not a standard flight simulator plane. It's coming from ProSim. Unfortunately, the manual in FlyList doesn't tell you, oh, by the way, for ProSim you have to do this. No, it just tells you for any plane that you're gonna use for this, you have to go into the camera's configuration and change this. I personally did not change anything. I left exactly as it is. However, it does not harm in change it and try. You can put the initial zoom to 1. You just have to change the value here. You change this from 100 to 000, and then you obviously save. The good thing is that if it doesn't work, you can always open again and put the value as it was before, or you can just copy and paste the backup file that you had. So you can play a little bit around. I decided from my side to not to play with this, but to leave a ProSim, and it works very well. Maybe I'll try also to 1.0 and 000 and see what the difference is. Or maybe you guys try and tell me if it actually works better or not. Okay. So at the moment, I'm not gonna change to the ProSim, but just so you know, I show you where you can find the camera. Now, of course, if you wanna change any other plane, I believe if you go to the community folder, okay, this is the FPW. If you go to the community, yeah, if you go to local cache, I think it's sim objects, and then here you can find some of the Asobo plane. For example, if I wanna change, I don't know, the Cessna 152, no, it's not that one. So I think maybe airplanes, yeah, it might be here. Asobo C152, no, no either. Okay, I don't even know where they are, but I thought it was in community. Maybe in community. No, anyway, but somewhere you can find where the airplanes are, and you can change as maybe it's here. No, you can change as you want. I just wanted to show you where you need to go for the ProSim, because that's the one I use. I don't care about all the other airplane. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so we took care of this section here. Again, I did not change anything, but if you want to change, be my guest. Now we have the second part. We have channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, or pass the following line into the user config. So this is the next step we need to do. What you have two options. Either you open Microsoft Flight Simulator and you create you go into general option, and then you click experimental, and then from there you add in the multi-display you add the first window. The first window you call a projector 1, and you insert, you will see a lateral, vertical, and a roll, and you need to insert this value. Then you create a projector 2 windows, and then projector 3 windows. Now in this case, the way it works is the projector 1 will be the left view, this one will be the center, this will be the right view. Okay, so you can do this, or this is way to do it. Flyly is already done for you. It calculates the frustum, it calculates everything, and it already give you all these individual value all into one config file, and all you can do is to copy and paste into your user config for the flight simulator. Where do you find that? So you go into the folder of flight simulator, and then you click local cache, and then you go down and you see user config here. So if you open this with a simple notepad, and then you don't touch anything, you wanna basically, what you wanna do is to take from this area under, so starting from after post Y34, you take all this all the way to here before anti-aliases the LSSS. So basically you delete all the names called Windows Custom 0. So everything that starts with Windows Custom, delete everything. There are no any more. Those are the only one. So delete and basically replace with this one. So copy and paste this one. I'm not gonna do it because I already done it. You copy and paste, and then obviously you save the file. Now what does they do? Because you put this directly into user config, when you open your flight simulator, we are gonna open in a second, you will see that those 3 windows have been created for you by simply copy and paste this. So again, you have 2 options. Either you copy and paste, which I think is the easier things to do, or you create one by one yourself. Okay guys, we are back. We are inside the simulator. So after I copy and paste, okay, do you know what? This music is driving me crazy. So let me just okay, finally. So guys, what I've done is remember, I copy and paste the config and into the user config of the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Then you start the simulator. The first thing you want to do, don't touch anything about immersive calibration, just only the simulator, just start. So we need to check that everything is being done correctly. So the first thing you want to do is to go, in fact there are 2 things you want to do. First we go to graphic. Now we go into not graphics, sorry, I think camera, yes, camera. Okay, what you want to do is we go into here, these 3. Camera check, please turn it off. The flashlight mode, you can leave it as auto, there is no effect that, but the on cockpit mode has to be on now. I don't know really what the difference is, but it's very clear in the manual for a flight list that this needs to be off and this needs to be on now. So just follow the instruction. That's all you need to change there. Now the next thing you want to do is go to experimental, and look at that. When you go into experimental, now you see the windows. These windows have been created by the user config that you just copy and paste. So remember, you have two options. The first one was to add the new windows, and you have to put the value directly, and then the second windows, which is very easy to do. But I use the user config because it's easier. Now don't get confused. You're gonna see 6 windows instead of 3. And the reason of 6 is because it created 3 in window mode and 3 into full screen mode. And the reason for that is because you can choose whether you wanna use the window mode or the full screen. I always use the full screen anyway. So I'm focusing on this full screen now. Now I wanna going back to what I was saying before, for example, let's go to the first. So Windows 1, okay, so Windows 1 here, and we have here. So as you can see, the lateral, it needs to be negative 78.6, and you will see here negative 78.6. Now I will explain why mine is different, but negative 78.6, the vertical should be 0.87, and the roll rotation should be 0. So when you go here, unfortunately, because you only have one decimal, one number after decimal point, you're not gonna see negative 78.6446. What you see is negative 78.7 or 0.6. So basically it round up to the closest possible number. The 0.87665 will become, for example, 0.8 or 0.9. In this case, actually, it will become 0.9 because it goes for excess, the closest possible. This one, for example, 1.07 such and such will become 1.1, and so forth. So what does it mean? That because of this limitation of the flight simulator to have only one decimal point, you are gonna lose the precision the flight list created. Now you probably think that, well, that doesn't really matter because you are talking about very small amount here. I mean, if instead of writing 0.87 blah 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 we write it 0.9, what's the difference? Actually it makes a lot of difference, because when you select all this and it rounded up automatically, when you actually start the simulator, you're gonna see that the windows are not perfectly aligned. You can see, for example, on the runway, you can see that it goes quite straight, and then suddenly you have a little bit of black or break and so forth. So it's not perfectly. And now you understand why mine are different, because what you do is that once everything is created, you go to your simulator, you see how it is, and then you adjust the value little by little. And I will show you exactly how I did and what's the best way to do it, because if you start to change all this number in one go, you're gonna go crazy. So I have a solution for you, and it works, and it takes really 5 minutes, okay? So first of all, go into your experimental, make sure that all the number are exactly as the number of the user config. I know that there will be slightly different than mine, because obviously your simulator will be different than mine, so don't expect to have the same number, but pretty much close as opposed. So make sure that they are the same. Once you do that, you can apply save. I'm not gonna do that, but what you do, you go back and you exit the simulator. So the reason why entering the simulator in the first place is because we want to make sure two things. The first one is the value of the user config is being replicated correctly into the simulator. So you have now 3 windows. The second one is that you turn off the camera shake and you turn on the home cockpit mode. Done that, now it's time to have fun with it. So we can actually close this. We don't need anymore this file, we don't need anymore. Yes, Immersive Calibration Pro you can actually close. We don't need that anymore. So now, how to start everything? Start Immersive Display Pro. When you start Immersive Display Pro, you need to assign for each projector the output file from the config folder, if you remember. So in this case, if I don't remember, if I go into external calibration, you need to go to your config file folder, and you select, for example, multi-projector 1, and then you do multi-projector 2 for the second and 3 for the third one. Okay, depends how you calibrate your simulator, your projector, sorry, because sometimes it doesn't mean that projector 1 goes to the first, the second for the second, the third for the third. Could be that maybe it's 2 3 1 or 3 2 1 and so forth. Depends how you calibrate it, but I explain everything on the original video. So what you need to do is to select these three, okay, these three, because I'm selecting I'm using 3 projectors, so I have a multi-projector connected to a computer. Once you select that, then the next things to do is to go into simulator, and here you will see Microsoft Flight Simulator Multi-View Experimental Zoom. Now if you remember, in the beginning here it says set the zoom percentage Microsoft Flight Simulator to 72.2788. Now if you put this into your simulator, you go into your flight simulator and you select zoom, obviously you cannot put 72.278, you will put 72.3 for example. The problem is that every time there is an update on the simulator, or every time there is a change, the zoom go back to the original value. And so what happens is that you select the zoom, you apply, everything works until Adobe does another does another update, and during the update the graphic goes back to normal usually, and you have to go back and remember to change the simulator. If you don't remember the zoom, if you don't remember to do that, you're probably gonna think, oh, the calibration doesn't work anymore. But Elise went a step further. So instead of changing the zoom over there, you go into here, you go into simulator, you select this auto start on, and you put the value here, the precise value. Now what it does is when you open this, it search for the Microsoft Flight Simulator. When you start the Microsoft Flight Simulator and you are into the choosing the plane and everything, this one connects automatically, and it changes the value of the zoom automatically. So what it means that you can do all the updates you want. It doesn't matter if the zoom on the simulator go back to original value. When you open this, automatically will start, it will look for simulator, and as soon as you start the simulator it will apply automatically this, so you don't have to remember to do this anymore. Okay, so 2 things you need to do: make sure that on the display you select the correct output on the simulator, you put the value, you put this on, obviously click start if it's not clicked, and you just let it go. You don't have to do anything. You can keep the desktop warping and window warping, both of them enable. As long as I think one of the 2 are enabled, it's fine. I keep the both. So this one is minimize. Okay, so minimize. You can close this now. We're done with this, and then now you can start the simulator. So in order for this to work, you need to remember to start the Immersive Display Pro and then start the simulator. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, we are back into the Flight Simulator 2020. Now the first thing you will notice, obviously you're gonna use exactly as normal, but if you press the Windows key, you're gonna see something cool here. As you can see, it created the 3 windows. So this will be the left, this will be the center, and this will be the right. So and it created 3 windows because if you remember, when I exported the file, it allowed me, it was asking me, do you want to use the same these windows here as already the center, or you want to use so you want to reuse the windows or not? And I select not, because what I do, I move these 3 windows to my projector system, visual system, but I'm keeping this here because from here I create the my simulator. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select my ProSim flight, because I want to show you how it looks like, obviously without removing the cockpit. Oh, by the way, before I forget, if you want to use any other airplane, for example the Salty simulation here, 747, in the manual of Fly Elise it tells you how to remove the cockpit. So it's quite easy. You go to the camera config, I think, and there is a file that you have to put some asterisk or something, so it becomes descriptive instead of a code. So what is ProSim here? PPPPP. Oh, here. Okay, so I'm gonna select them, and as usual, being patriotic that I am, I'm gonna select my city. So I'm gonna show you to start with some maybe some here, so at least I can show you that there is no stretching. Fly condition, we can put live. Turn off this because I don't need it at the moment. Okay, and then fly. So we wait until it loads, and then we just need to do one final things, and then we are ready to go. Right, so we are ready. Let's go, ready to fly. And it will position, as you can see, the zoom automatically create the zoom. So at the moment we are seeing the front. Now here's is how we move those three windows to the projectors. I'm gonna use my Windows on the keyboard, my Windows key, left shift key, and the arrows. I showed these guys when I was on the video about Microsoft Flight Simulator and the projector visual. I showed you how to do it. So basically you select the Windows key, the left shift, and the arrow keys. Now arrow keys may be left or right depending where you are with the projector. So I select first of all the window that I need. So I start with my right. So I click on my right, and I know that to go to my right section of my simulator I need to move this twice. So window shift 1 2 on the arrow key, and that's done. So then I select my left side, and then we do 1 2 3 because I know that I need to move 3 times. And then for the center, so obviously this is left, center, right. For the center I just need to select it and move once. Now all the 3 windows have been moved to my projector system. I'm gonna show you how it looks like. The main window is still here, and the good thing is that you can control the simulator from here. So you can have this, because if you have this on the projector visual system, it's quite difficult to control. So if somebody wants to use GSX, can be here some sort of like instruction station. So this one is not gonna give any problem. Now let's go see how it looks like on the visual system. Okay, so this was a good example, but you're gonna see quite good from here. Everything is perfectly aligned, and at the moment is morning, but it's gonna get even darker. It's gonna look even better, like awesome. Now let's step outside for a second. I wanna discuss something with you guys. So at the moment mine is quite aligned because I changed slightly, I tweaked the value. If you remember, I showed you that the value were not exactly as what the user config were telling me to, and the reason is that when you do that, you will see that a couple of things don't become aligned, and that's because it's all to do with those decimal points. So those decimal points will create a little bit of dislocation, let's say. So everything looks good, but then when you reach to a certain area you will see a little bit of disconnection and so forth. So let me tell you the last part of this video what you can do to adjust. Okay guys, I select a different view. I selected the view for the runway, and I purposely put the value like it was in the config. As you can see, you have a little bit of discrepancy there, and I believe we have also a little bit of discrepancy here. So this doesn't look very good, right? Obviously it was not like that. I put it back purposely because I want to show you exactly what could happen. Now when you put those values exactly as the user config, the simulator will convert to the
the closest number decimal point, and that's why you're losing the perfection, and you're gonna have something similar to that, which is not good. So here's what you do. You take the computer, and I suggest you to connect with a laptop so you can control the main computer from a laptop, and you come here. And what I did is, okay, leave the center as it is, so don't change the center, but change only this one, move this, and move that one. Don't move this. The only reason why you don't want to move that is because if you start to move this, you can align to this screen, but then you disalign to that, and it's very difficult. You will be playing left and right with this, up and down. So take this as your reference point, and let's start with the left things. So all I've done is take an example. For example, we can see that this building is double, right? It's the same building but replicated double. So the first thing I've done is to take the Windows 1, which is where I'm selecting this window, and I shift the lateral view. So by reducing the lateral, I'm basically in position the two windows together. I will show you in a second how it looks like when I do it, but then once I do that, if one is up or down the other one, then I use the vertical to align. So what I'm trying to do is to basically, I want to align this, the roof and everything, to the roof and everything else of this. The two must be aligned. As you can see, this is a little bit higher. So when I move this here vertically, and I found the correct position, sorry, horizontally, when I found the correct position, then I want to move down vertically. And once the two are perfectly matching each other, you got the perfect alignment. Now everything else will align. So once you do that, this one will align automatically, this one will align automatically, and so forth, as long as you are using the correct zoom. Because if the zoom of this one or this one are not correct, for example, you went into your ProSim and you changed the zoom. Remember in the beginning I said with me it works without changing the zoom, but if you're gonna change the zoom, then perhaps it's not gonna work. So if this zoom is different than this zoom, then you can play around as much as you want. You're not gonna align them both. Okay, so that's what you do. Once this is aligned, then you move to the next one. So here you do the same. We take an example. I found that one of the good example for me was the tree. Now if you look at this tree, we have some shadow, some ghost tree here. That means that this is basically this part here, but it's just replicated. So all I do is, first thing, I want to move this horizontally until the match, and then I move vertically up or down until the match also vertically. Once I do that, I know that this window is connected to this and they work both. So everything else will also be connected. When you do that, you can save those values into the simulator, and once they're saved, they're always saved, so you don't have to change anymore. Every time you set up the simulator, it works like this. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it, just because I wanna give you one last final tip, and then we're ready to go. Here's how I do it. So I use a laptop to connect with the TeamViewer with my main computer, so I can control from here the main computer. And the reason why I need the laptop is because I need to go near the screen to see exactly what I'm doing. So then I go to General Option and go to Experimental. Okay, it takes. I'm having some internet problem this morning, so it's going slower than usual. But here's what I do. I'm in full screen now, so I go straight into the full screen mode, full screen resolution, and so Windows 1 will be the lateral window. Okay, so I got into Windows 1, and we have the lateral rotation, vertical, and roller. So those two I'm gonna use it to either increase or decrease to align the two items that I showed you before. I'm not gonna touch the roll, and the reason for the roll is because all you need is the vertical lateral. Very, very rarely you will need the roll. I mean, for me, I never use it, but if you have to use it, use with caution, because the roll, it means they is gonna tilt like left and right, like rotating, and then it starts to becomes a little bit very weird when you actually fly it. But I'm gonna set up the camera. I'm gonna show you how it looks like when you start playing with this number. Okay, I want you to focus on those two buildings. I'm taking that as an example. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just to demonstrate how to do it. So as you look at that, I'm using first of all the lateral, and with the mouse for the Windows one, I'm gonna change the value until I get a certain the two buildings are obviously together. Now you may need to adjust also the vertical as you go through. This is just an example. Okay, now it looks like I have two buildings. So vertically it seems that they are aligned, but laterally they are not. So I need to push that one a little bit more inside. And it may be that maybe the building is not good example to pick up, because for example I don't think this is is showing exactly how should be aligned. I think it's difficult to know when to stop. So it may be the building is a bad option. What you can do, change the scenery. For example, go to a gate and maybe you see the lines of the jetways, or maybe go and see some trees. So basically select a scenery where you can find an item that's very easy. You can easily adjust and put the two together. Anyway, my idea was to show you exactly when you move the lateral, this is what happens, and when you move the vertical, this is what happens. Now I suggest you my final tip. First of all, start with the left and then you do the right. Don't touch the center screen. Center screen will be your reference point. The second tip is only use the lateral and vertical. Do not use the roll. The roll, I'll just show you the roll. If you start to use the roll, it looks like it's shifting vertically, but in reality is going is tilting up and down. And if you tilt too much, when you actually are inside the cockpit, it looks quite weird. So only use lateral. In fact, the roll for me, they're all 0. Use the lateral and vertical. I think they're all 0, but I'll check later. So now I have to put my value back as they were before. Likely I took a screenshot. I know which value they were, and so it's very easy for me to put this back together. But you got the gist. So here we go, guys. That's how you use Fly Elise to calibrate warp Microsoft Flight Simulator in automatic mode. And there you have it, guys. That's how I did my warping and blending of the Flight Simulator multi-display support using the Fly Elise. Again, you don't have to use the Fly Elise, you can do it manually, but it's gonna take you so much longer. And I think Fly Elise did a fantastic job to help you find those values for the lateral, the roll, and the vertical in a much faster way. This video probably is 20-30 minutes long, but in reality it takes 5 minutes. So you connect, you make sure that everything is calibrated originally like it was before. You export the files for Microsoft Flight Simulator, take those files, the zoom, remember on the Fly Elise, remember to also set up the projector as they're supposed to be, and then use the user config in the Flight Simulator. You copy and paste, and that's all you do. It's really 5 minutes. Once you do that, you remember turn off the camera mode, you put the home cockpit on, and then you go into the experimental and make sure that those values are correct. And then all you need to do, the final thing, is a little bit of tweak. Once you do that, you save, and every time you start the simulator, all you need to do is to start the immersive calibration, immersive display pro, and then the flight simulator, and the visual appears exactly as it was mine. Hopefully this helps a lot, guys. I don't think I'm gonna make any other video about this. However, I know that Elise do say that as Microsoft Flight Simulator increase and make it better for the multi-display support, they will also release updates on their Calibration Pro program in order to make even more sophisticated the visualization of the simulator. So as the simulator increase and make it better, Elise will do the same. So if something happen, change, I'm sure I will do another video. But for the moment, this is done. Any question, please comment, subscribe the button if you haven't done so. Thank you so much. Until the next, ciao tutti.